What is going on, guys? I'm here with Mr. Taylor Jones out of Oregon right now. He's out there taking advantage of those tax-free benefits, sales tax-free. Taylor Jones, 2 years ago, quit his job working for Xerox, right?
2 years ago, let's see, it was March of 2020. So a little bit more than
About
2 years. Yeah.
2.5 years, quit his job, pursued Amazon full-time, did retail arbitrage for about a year, and then he transitioned to OA, and he learned super fast. And the skills are transferable from retail arbitrage to online arbitrage. And yeah, now he's fucking crushing it, travels the world, and does whatever the fuck he wants in life. So
I try.
welcome.
Thank you, brother.
Welcome to the
Thank you for having me on, dude. Super. This is cool that you got the podcast going, man. I mean, this is I feel like now is the time to start one, honestly. Like the way that you can snip these little clips and repurpose it, like
100%.
Good for you, brother.
I just enjoy talking to people too. So we need to catch up.
Exactly. Now give us a reason to.
Yeah. So just a little bit about Taylor. I mean, he got me into chlorine in 2021. That was a big thing. You've made me a lot of money, man. Even the stuff you've told me about this year, you know,
we went to Lowe's together. Remember that?
Yep. Yeah. We went to Lowe's. We were shooting a YouTube video. I was like, let me just get some of this content I'd never published a video because it was like, we found out how good of an opportunity it was. And I was like, I'm going to publish this in a few months. And then, so like we were at the store, we were at Lowe's, and you were like, yeah, these are going to sell before we get home. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like, they're going to sell
Avery's
before we
used
get
to
home?
like waiting like 7 months for a book to sell.
Yeah,
he's like, this
exactly.
Guy is
I'm like,
something.
it's gonna take a few months for all this to sell, man. And sure enough, I don't think it sold by the time we got home, but it sold like that day. It sold within 24 hours. And yeah, so Taylor put me on chlorine, made about 30 grand profit that summer total off of that, which was pretty cool. And then you started OA. We went to Costa Rica together. And I think that's kind of when you started OA, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I remember when we met in December.
It's kind of trippy looking back now.
I know.
At all this stuff.
I just remember feeling like an idiot. I tell a story all the time. Like I remember when we were in Overtown in the sketchiest part of Miami. Like I remember like you walking out of the room at 11, like, you know, sending your VAs a message. And I'm like, dude, and I'm like hustling still for 8 hours a day. And I'm like recalibrating everything. I'm like, wait, there's gotta be a way that I can take this and move it online because I'm out here hustling. Remember I brought those ceiling fans home, you know, and then we went to Costa Rica, like literally the next month after that. And I was like, okay, I took you told me to get investors. I posted on my Instagram story, I had like 5 people reach out. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. I didn't think that was going to work.
Yeah.
And then I took 15K of an investor's money. If you guys are scared to start OA, like this, listen to this story. I took 15K of an investor's money. I spent 10,000 on Target and broke even on everything. I bought the stupidest stuff. The last 5K is what I went all in on chlorine that summer. And dude, I turned that 5 into like 15, 20 in June, you know?
Yeah, you were buying off of like Pallet Fly and stuff. I remember like you were showing me Keepagraphs and like I was a bookseller. So I was like, I don't know about these, man. But like you were showing me like, you're like, do you think I should buy this? And you were buying off Pallet Fly. And I'm like, I don't know.
Pallet Fly is not, I've had a couple good deals on Pallet Fly, but I mean, not the best, I wouldn't say.
We definitely know a lot more. Like if you and I could go back and just walk in that room of Costa Rica, like imagine how much money we could really make. Like, what would you tell yourself if you could go back in that room? Like if you could just bust in the door and you had like 10 minutes to talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself back then?
I'd be like, bro, don't buy that shit from Target because it's going to tank.
You know what I would tell myself actually? Like if we're being real, I would be like, dude, book a fucking flight back to the United States right now and go hard on pools and chlorine.
Honestly, that was probably the thing to do, man. Really.
Like 10 times harder than we did. Because if we would have done it then, the chlorine was selling for like 300 or something. That's when the price of that 40-pound tub was like $300. So we both could have made like $250,000, $500,000, I bet.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing is hunting it down. Like the tubs were hard to find. I feel like maybe when we were in Costa Rica, it was a different.
Yeah,
I think
if we could go back now, we would know, And so we could tell ourselves what's going to happen in the future. I'd be like, dude, go to California. Look at this Jake Carter kid. I'd be like,
I
don't get
think
a
the
U-Haul truck. It's going to blow up.
I think the other thing I would tell myself is, because dude, even after that, like I still was doing RA later into that year, like September, October of that year. I was still doing a little bit of RA, like when I was struggling to find stuff. And I think what I would tell myself is like, look, if you really want to scale and take this business to doing hundreds of thousands of dollars of profit a year, focus on OA. It's going to be able to save your time. You're going to save so much time doing it instead of doing RA. And it's going to be like, that's going to be backbreaking work. Focus on OA, trust that the deals are out there, and find people that are already finding the deals and know how to find them, and talk to them and watch what they're doing, because that's the way to do it.
So what do you think? I know you didn't do a lot of reverse sourcing, storefront stocking for a while. What's your strategy now? Because every time I talk to my YouTube people, I always show them reverse sourcing. I always open up my screen and I go in, we find somebody's store, and then I show them there. What's your main strategy for finding deals? Are you doing manual sourcing, or and how do you incorporate storefront stocking, if you incorporate it at all?
You can't storefront stock a crappy store, So like, and I think everyone finds their sweet spot of like what kind of deals they want. Like as I'm growing my business, it's more and more important to me to find stuff that's selling very fast. Like if I have to wait 3 months to sell something, I'm going to go crazy, so that's really important to me. So I think before you start storefront stocking, I think you need to be able to determine like, okay, does this guy have a few products that are actually like high quality and what I would consider a good lead? And then, what's up, Jake? If so, then you want to be able to find a good store. I would say 60% of my leads, maybe even 70. I am doing a lot of storefront stocking right now. But I feel like, dude, it's like this game is like a scavenger hunt. You sort of go down all of these rabbit holes and like you find one good product, and then you can storefront stock and find a few other good products off of that opportunity. So really the game becomes challenging when you stop looking, but as long as you got a few hot trails, it can definitely, be pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say I'm doing a significantly less amount of manual sourcing. Like right now, though, is a great time to do manual sourcing. Like, for example, like there's a lot of deals out there because of Black Friday. Now is a great time to do manual sourcing, because when a website's running 30% off or 30% cash back, there's going to be a significantly more amount of deals. Whereas if you're going to wait to storefront stock, you might not find them in time.
I've seen you've been posting about going to Costco. Are you starting to kind of realize how awesome retail arbitrage is, because you can get it active same day after doing, especially during Q4 now? Are you realizing, there's kind of like an opportunity with retail arbitrage that you didn't really think of before?
I think I go back and forth. I think with RA, the reason I was in Costco is if I find a deal in Costco, I can buy the whole pallet.
Yeah.
The hard thing about, like another store I've been going to is like the grocery outlet out here. They have like maybe 10, 15 of an item, which is pretty good. They're really, really good prices. But they only have 10 or 15. So if you make $5 a piece, okay, great. You found $50. Like you're going to be hustling all day if you want to purchase $1,000 of profit that day. So that's where my mind's at. In the future, like next year, I really see myself definitely focusing on OA, but RA, like, yeah, when the deals are out there, and like I was selling that pallet I bought in Costco, I was getting sales same day,
Yeah, that's
whereas
awesome.
When I sent them to FBA, that SKU took 2 weeks. I just got my first sale yesterday. It took 2 weeks to check in.
Yeah. I was checking my prep center list today, and they're either not checking stuff in as quickly as I would want them to, or the stuff's legitimately not delivered yet. Highly doubt it, because it's been a month. But it just made me think, like, dang, it would be nice to be able to go and buy items and have them active same day. And that's a big benefit of retail arbitrage that you have. And that's why, like, there's a few people that really made a lot of money in 2021 summer, with pools and chlorine, and you really could have started your business without much, and then you could convince your grandma, you could convince your uncle, family, whatever, to give you money because you're purchasing inventory and getting it active same day. And so that's why merchant fulfilled is really awesome too. Online arbitrage. I'm jealous of you right now because you got that house. So you can, well, you want to tell people about that? Like why you're in Oregon?
Yeah, so I booked an Airbnb here for a month and a half, and I mean my prep center bill last month was like over $2,000, man. Like it was a lot. And so this month, you know, I'm gonna save probably two to four grand on prep costs, and I'm having everything shipped here. It's literally I would
Yeah,
show
those
you.
prep bills add up after a while.
I
Like,
take
dude,
the I know I take the green screen off and show you, but there's like a couple leads I don't want to share. But yeah, it's working out great. I'm just doing way more touching of inventory than I'd want to, but
yeah. But there's more benefits than just saving on prep time. Like you're making sure you secure the sale. You're making sure that you get it listed on time. You have more confidence to buy more inventory because it's in your possession. If you have a 2 to 6 week delay in Q4, that's like all of Q4 gone. If it
yeah,
takes 6 weeks to prep something, so it's all about speed in Q4. So luckily, I do have an in-house prepper or in-house lister, Joanna. I can ship it directly to her. I do have to pay sales tax for that, but I'm trying to like get the confidence of purchasing MF items and going deep. But one thing I've realized with MF is it's obviously harder to get buy box. And I've realized this is just me. I feel like I don't get, and I haven't done too much MF, so this might be a limited thing I'm about to say, but I've noticed that when I list MF, I don't get buy box unless I've sold that exact item in the past a few times. And then I start winning the buy box more. Like you and I were on that one listing earlier. I won't mention the name of it, but you were dominating buy box on it. And I think you were dominating buy box because you sold so much in the past. And so really having that confidence of winning buy box as a merchant.
yeah.
FBA, I feel like you can just get buy box if you go lowest, but MF, it's just weird sometimes, you know?
I think there's something to that. What I do is I'll come in and I'll drop the price kind of aggressively the first couple of days I list it, and I'll just be a jerk and I'll undercut everyone and I'll get the buy box. And then, like you said, once you have the buy box and you've shown Amazon, and we're sort of speculating at the algorithm right now, but once people have already received their items from that item and it's like, oh, they
Yeah.
were happy, the Amazon algorithm's like, okay, we'll give you more of it. And then at that point, then I can raise my price back up and maintain some of it. Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
But there is something there. I agree. But dude, speed is everything. Like, and I think, you know, you can do this still. I mean, you can send FBM stuff to your prep center.
Yeah.
I found a couple of retail websites. I was buying costumes, dude. They, for only $20 extra, they would ship 100 units and they would arrive next day, you know, and I'd have them active. It was
Nice.
crazy. So I'm
Nice.
hoping to find more opportunities like that. That's really what I feel like the MF opportunity, you know, is at. But
So what's a good sourcing session for Taylor Jones? Like what's your ideal sourcing session? You taking some daffodil, you loading up on the caffeine pills,
yeah, dude, I love like
you
more.
putting your hoodie on, and how does the session go? Are you what's like a big day for you? Can you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, I mean, I locked up a bunch of money last month in some wholesale stuff that's taking longer to check in as well. So if I have money to spend though, man, I mean, I'm waking up, I'm getting a good workout in. I'm having either just a coffee or nothing, and I'm sitting down, and it's sporadic. Like oftentimes I'll buy, you know, 5 or 6 leads, maybe 10 or 20 items. If it's a new lead, like all day, like, you know, several times a day, I'm checking my sales. And if I have a new item and I'm like, oh wow, that's actually selling really good, then I'll sit down and I'll go in and I'll buy more of that. So it's really sporadic, dude. Like, you know,
And how do you check those items? You just going in Seller Central and looking at what's
I
sold?
have a app called Seller Mobile, and it's telling me
Okay.
exactly what's selling. But I typically source for like in the afternoon for like 2 to 3 hours, you know, at least, you know, 4 or 5 times a week.
What do you like about that app? What does it tell you that Seller Central doesn't?
Well, dude, when you go into Amazon, like if I don't pull up my my Amazon seller app right now, like, and I look at my sales for today, like,
Mhm.
where is it going to tell me exactly what item I sold today? When you click, when the bars turn orange, that's
Yeah, you can
then
go
you
to
can,
you can go to manage orders on there, click on manage orders,
okay,
and
that's
then you can sort by, maybe you have MF or FBA, but you can sort by all orders, and you can sort by date. That's how I check my orders. But I'm pretty sure the app you use, I think you used it a few years ago or whenever we lived together, a year and a half. And I think it had buy cost baked in somehow. I think you put the buy
yeah,
cost in or
you
something.
can edit the buy cost and then it tells you the profit.
Yeah, I think that's why you liked it back then.
Yeah,
So,
because the Amazon seller app doesn't tell you the fees.
mhm.
But yeah, that's basically what I do. Just source for a few hours in the afternoon and restock everything. But yeah, man, OA is it's a great opportunity. Super blessed. I think it's kind of funny, dude. Like when we met, I didn't see you transitioning to OA, and I was like, I'm taking a risk here. I was like, I gotta, I it was a super big risk. At least it felt like it at the time, leaving RA, like and buying stuff
Dude, yeah,
online.
it is like extremely humbling trying a new business model and going all in on it. Like it is extremely, and it's like I can't even imagine. I can't imagine, but like just imagine going to like a completely different industry, like fitness or just something completely unrelated. Like everything I'm doing is kind of related. Online arbitrage, books, teaching people how to sell on Amazon, podcast, Miami Sellers Conference, the listing software I'm making, like all of this kind of ties back to Amazon. But starting over from nothing, like imagine if you just had to pick, if you just had to go and like a peanut butter company.
Yeah, man, it would definitely be sketchy. I think especially too when like if like at the time I wasn't making that much doing RA. I think my, income last year like on taxes was only like 50K. And like when you have that pressure to like, oh, I got to support myself too, is even more pressure. Like I was um telling Diana the other day about how like she was like, it must have been so exciting. Like when I found this chalk, like in the spring of 2020, it was like the chlorine. I sold 10 units before I left Walmart. And at that time, it was so ripe. The excitement was so raw. I was like, oh my God. And she's like, does it feel the same now? And of course, yeah, it feels great, but it's also comes with this like, oh shit, like I gotta find, $15,000 of profit this month, or we're not making any. So it
Yeah.
comes with an added level of responsibility. I think as like the stakes and the responsibility and the leverage goes up, like that also the pain could potentially go up too. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, just balancing it and being able to forecast the future, because in a OA business, you only make as much as you buy. Like
Mhm.
you can only expect your business to grow as much as you're spending. And that's kind of different with other businesses, but it kind of input in does equal input out. Like social media, you grow as much as as the valuable content that you create. Like then your accounts grow, and you can only expect that by posting consistently. And like on TikTok, even if you go look at Gary Vee's TikTok, like a lot of his videos only have a few thousand views. And you would
Yeah.
expect Gary Vee, like the TikTok king, to be crushing it every video. But he embraces the process and he knows this video might get 5,000 views. This video might get 5,000 views. They might be exactly the same quality of video too. But then all of a sudden one's going to get 5 million. And
And
that's
he's
all that matters.
exactly. And he's just trying so much different stuff, man. Like he's not afraid to experiment, experiment, experiment. And when you do that, you're way more likely to find the good stuff, which gives you confidence too. Like it gives me a lot of confidence being able to look back at like the data since Honey Let's been tracking my numbers and look at that, like I think it's like an 18% ROI, which is like that definitely gives me a lot more confidence. And if you're watching this and you're not tracking at least somehow your numbers, I recommend it because it can give you a lot of anxiety having, tens, 50, $70,000 in credit card debt. And then
Yeah.
not like whenever I get nervous, I just reassure myself like, okay, like historically the past 18 months, every dollar you've spent, you've gotten
It's
your
going
dollar
back.
back plus, 20 cents. So just relax.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's definitely good. Yeah, having like inventory valuation as well. Like how much money is currently in inventory and how much do I expect to make from that. The second part of the equation is a little bit harder to forecast, but if you know that on average you made at least 18% back, you can kind of forecast it that way.
Yeah. So how are the calls going with the group coaching? Are you getting a lot of newbies in there, or what kind of people you guys?
Yeah, we're getting a mixture. We're getting some newbies. Shout out Jeff. He's in the group. Jeffrey right here. Yeah, most of them are more beginners, but hopefully we'll get some OGs in the group soon.
Nice.
But yeah, if you guys don't know, I do have a private community. If you guys want to hear more about that, hit me up on IG.
And if
yeah,
you haven't already, I was going to say, if you haven't already, don't forget to check out
Miami Sellers Conference,
/Miami 2023.
Damn right. Yeah, man, it's going to be good.
I'm excited. We got, I don't know how many. Oh yeah, that place messaged me back. So we might, that venue I messaged you about.
We got Denise here too. Shout out Denise. We've done 3 calls so far, and we're just focusing on sourcing right now, storefront stocking.
Randy Curtis said Armo modafinil is better. Honestly, maybe I tried that actually a few months ago. I wasn't a big fan of it. But
hey, you got to start somewhere, Adam.
The noobs and paid groups are annoying. Yeah.
We were all there at one point. I'm still there some days. Some days I'm like, I have like the noobiest question to ask, and I'm like, I don't care how stupid this makes me look. I'm going to ask it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing, is like I would rather save the time of asking a stupid question in like a Discord and have somebody answer me than spend 5 minutes on Google. And some people just don't like that. Some people are like, why don't you just Google it? I'm like, because I can ask it in the Discord.
Well, also too, the people that know you, the people that are doing this specific industry are going to be able to know where you're coming from too. They're going to be able to give you a more specific answer, I feel like.
I think sometimes people get caught up in like, you should know everything. And it's like, I don't have to know the ins and outs of how an effing SKU is generated. I don't have to know, like, if Amazon updates their interface tomorrow, I'm not going to feel like a fake guru because I don't understand the new layout,
Yeah. Dude, I was bugging out the other day when I got here because I had to make an FBA shipment for the first time in a long time. And they made the new workflow.
Yep.
Like 6 months ago. And every time I was like, go back to the old workflow. I'm not using this new thing. And then when I loaded it up, a few weeks ago, the old workflow was not available. It's like, oh shit, I had to figure out the new one.
Yeah. You just feel like a fucking 7-year-old man.
Dude, honestly though, like I am definitely not like, I mean, you're the one building the software. I that would overwhelm me. Like I'm not super software savvy, I feel like. And I was able, dude, I never had to Google anything about Seller Central. It was all that intuitive. I could just figure it out. Do either of you use?
It's intuitive, but it's like it's like hard to. It's not efficient. It's intuitive, but it's so many clicks, and that's why other softwares exist. Go ahead, you can read this.
Do either of you guys have any Bolo lead lists? If so, do you have any recommendations for specific ones? I was using one, and honestly, I never even bought anything off the list, but I would like use it to find, like I was mentioning earlier, hot other items that I could then storefront stock. I just feel like every lead list is oversaturated with people. Like all of the leads that they were sharing, it would go from 5 sellers to 70. And those kind of leads I really don't like. So at that moment, I'm not using any. I really like to find my own leads on my own if I can.
Real quick, like just a simple strategy people can do. Let me share my screen. If you just go to Amazon and you just type in Nike. Oh, there's all my leads popped up. Somebody screenshot that. Oh, just paused on it. Actually, that wasn't that good of stuff. So you just type in Nike and like it's actually kind of freaky. Like if you just click on any of these listings, like all these sellers are online arbitrage sellers. Like you literally just get insight into almost all these sellers. Some of these are wholesale guys. But it's like, if you're like, what is everyone selling on OA? I don't know. Like, this is the best leads list you can get. Just go here, look at these sellers. My computer's going really slow right now, but it'll load all the sellers on the side if Seller Amp will open up. Or you can just do it for free on Seller Central, but I like to use Seller Amp because it organizes it in a way where I can see the keepas like instantly. So you just scroll down to all the sellers here. Where they at?
I think another thing too is remember that some of these items are evergreen. Like you could buy them with a coupon code and it'd be great any time of the year. But there's going to be other Nike items where a lot of these guys
the
are
purpose here
purchasing
isn't
them on a great
it's
sale. And
it's
if you
it's not to get the exact item. Like this person might have bought it, like you said, like on a sale a while back. But the purpose is to look at all these people's stores. And so I wouldn't stock this person's store. They have 3,600. This person has 2,900. Premium Athletics, they have 712. So that's not like a huge store. If you go to Rabbit Enterprise, hopefully that's not your store, Taylor.
no.
Taylor's over there sweating. He's like, don't get me. And then you can open it up and it's got Nike, Intex, Rock Tape, Samsung, and it just has like all these different categories. And so if you think that they're buying from the same place you are, now you can just see. Anyway, like that's like the core of my method. I actually want to learn more about manual sourcing.
Seller Amp is a game changer too. Like, cause it ranks, you can see the data right there. It speeds up. That's been a game changer for me. You told me about it. I was really reluctant to even try it because but that's been a game changer for me. We have a couple good questions here. Have you ever had to deal with a cease and desist letters from brands, and how do you deal with them? So I've gotten one from Voorhees, I think, for a certain brand, and they've sent me one, and they threatened to take me to jail or to court. And I know other sellers that have gotten 3 letters from the same brand, but they're not doing anything, you know?
Yeah. So the other day, my assistant messaged me and was like, they say that they're going to take you to court. And I'm like, don't do anything.
But I think the thing to be now, I think this is important too. We're not saying completely ignore them, because you don't want to get an IP complaint. Like, that's what I would be more concerned with. It's, you sort of have to gauge, like, if it's only making you a few $100 profit, probably get off of it. It's not worth it. But if you have to
it depends. Like, I don't know. I've had my fair share of experience with law firms. I've actually had 3 accounts shut down from law firms. So I kind of like, I don't know. I get it. And the thing about this is, like, I actually have an invoice. I have a receipt for the items so they can suck my dick. Like, if they ask me the authenticity of it, I'm literally just going to pull out the receipt and say, look at this shit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show them that. You know, we could clip that and put that on IG.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, it's like with textbooks, you're going to say my shit's fake. This is something booksellers have to deal with. You're going to say my shit's counterfeit. How can I prove it's not counterfeit? I'm going to show you a Goodwill receipt. You're going to be like, no, that's not legit. It's a secondhand sale, whatever. But if you're going to get mad that I'm selling an item and I show that I purchased it from your website, you can't get mad at me for counterfeit. You could get mad at me for something else.
Yeah, I think they get mad. The brands are upset because they don't want you selling their item. Amazon is usually the one that's more concerned about the authenticity. It's usually the brand that's like, hey, we don't want you selling our product.
But they use that angle with Amazon. They always have that, like, we don't know if your products are authentic. And I'm like, I'll show you. I bought it from your store.
Exactly. That's why I save your receipts. That's everything. I had a store the other day. I bought 100 units from their website, and I bought 30 at first. They shipped the items. Then the next day I bought another 30. And they called me up. They handed the phone to the manager. The manager was like, hey, we can't do business with you. We only do direct to consumer. We do not sell to businesses, and you're a business. And I was like, okay, cancel my order. So the next day I placed 15. I was like, maybe they won't detect it. You know, the customer service lady calls me up. She's like, hold on, the manager wants to speak with you. And I hung up. I was like, I don't want to talk with the manager. I already talked to the manager. So she sends me an email and she's like, Taylor, you need to call us. The manager wants to speak with you. And I replied to her and I said, hey, Sally, whatever, with customer service, I'm not in the mood to chat today. You know, that's what I told her. But she emailed me back and she's like, we're going to take you to jail. And I'm like, for buying something on your website. And we've said this a lot of the times before, people are just going to be rude because they think they want to threaten you, is what a lot of these people do.
Yeah.
But just, how deep are you going per ASIN? I would say last year I was maybe only buying like 20 to 30 of an item. And this year I stepped it up. I'd say the most, other than that one SKU in this summer, I bought like, I was going deep, like 500 to 1,000. But really on average, I would say per ASIN, I'm buying around 100. I would say that's kind of my threshold right now.
So I have Seller Amp, BuyBox Pro. What softwares are you using?
So I'm just using really Seller Amp. I have Viral Launch too to get a second source on like sales volume. But really mostly Seller Amp. They can't get Avery.
They have 3 times, but I feel like I understand now. I understand what matters and what doesn't. And if you guys have legitimate receipts, like if you get your shit from like some Alibaba Express website, yeah, you're screwed. Go ahead and hop off the listing ASAP. But if you have a legitimate distributor or in this case, receipt, invoice or receipt, whatever you want to call it, like, I don't know. I would say personally stand your ground. Even in the book world, like I have people that sell 5 times as many books as I do, which is like 5-6 million a year. And they have like 40 plus IP complaints open at all times because all these different book brands they're trying to kick people off the listing and they literally just acknowledge them and move on. And so it's different, you know.
Dude, how about the seller assurance with your accounts not getting shut down? Is that going to benefit you? Are you protected now, or do you think
because what is that?
They come out with this new thing? It's called Account Health Seller Assurance, and you haven't seen this?
I heard about it briefly, but I didn't really look into it.
If can I share my screen?
Yeah. At the bottom, you should see present. Let me know when you share it, and I'll throw it up there.
Okay, present, share screen. Okay, let me just
make sure not to show your store to everybody.
Yeah, don't go just yeah. Okay, go ahead and share it.
Okay.
So this is my account health, and because I have above a 250, I have a 380. If you have above a 250, they just enrolled this. You're automatically enrolled with account health insurance. We will not deactivate your selling account as long as you work with us to resolve any issues.
That's been true of them. Good for them.
Yeah. So
that caveat at the end, though, as long as your account doesn't have any issues.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's going to help. Like I'm way more confident now.
Yeah, I think they're kind of realizing how they're screwing a lot of sellers. I mean, with that law firm that I talked about, they literally just get booksellers' accounts shut down left and right. And then what this law firm does is they'll message booksellers like they've asked us for like X amount, $100,000 for your books, and then they'll go down like an outrageous amount. Like now they're asking like 10,000 for the books, and it's like, wait, you went from 100,000 to 10.
They're
like
offering
they just
to buy
want
them
money
from
at this
you?
point. No, they want like a settlement. They want you to pay to get your account back. It's not to get your account back, but it is to get your account back. Like it's really fucked up, and that's why they pissed me off.
Who's asking for the money? Amazon or the
law firm? But they know, like they're not saying it, but if you pay them, they'll get your account back because they're that tight with Amazon. Like they've threatened to sue Amazon millions of dollars, and so Amazon kind of like they respect whatever they say. Amazon's like, oh, they said this. We're just going to go with it. We're just going to roll with it.
Are you considering paying the money?
No, because no. I mean, I run restrictedinventory.com. We can talk more about that behind the scenes, but I've figured shit out. So yeah, restrictedinventory.com has just been like me. Like I feel like it's like the closest I could have gotten to having a drug business. It's like a black market business. Shout out restrictedinventory.com.
Well done, sir, and welcome to the freaking Well Show.
I haven't done that in years. I used to do these every week and put that up there.
Oh my God, that's great, dude.
If you guys got restricted textbooks, CDs, DVDs, send them our way.
Dude, the shameless plug. I remember listening to Grant Cardone, dude, when I had a sales job before Xerox. I was making $25K a year. I would listen to Grant Cardone's The Cardone Show on every day, man, on the way to work. And every 2 minutes he'd be like, what would he say? It's CardoneVentures.com. Guys, check out CardoneVentures.com. That's CardoneVentures. He must have said it, dude, like 500 times on a podcast. And I didn't even realize what he was doing until like a few weeks in. I was like, holy crap, like this guy is just
MiamiSellersConference.com, MiamiSellersConference.com, MiamiSellersConference.com.
/2023.
You don't have to do the / anymore. We fixed it.
Oh, okay. Well, Avery, let me ask you this. What are you most excited about this year for the Sellers Conference? What are you most excited about?
Man, I'm excited for a few things. I'm excited for the free networking Friday. So anyone that gets there Friday, like I feel like we're going to do Friday way better this year. Not that it was bad last year, but we had a good turnout last year for Friday. And I feel like we should take more advantage with the networking. By the way, Taylor's my co-host, Miami 2023, for all y'all who are just popping in here. And one day we just decided in Miami when we had that shitty ass Airbnb that we were going to do an event. I think you talked about Grant Cardone or something. And dude, I didn't even really think we were going to pull it off, but we had like close to 100 bodies in the room first year, right?
Was it that many? I think it was closer to 70 the first
75.
year.
Second year, I don't know. Total bodies in the room, including speakers, must have been like 100, 120, 100 to 110-ish.
He's not, we're including the 50 catering staff that was now.
We're including the 50 speakers that we have.
There's only 10 people bought the tickets. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
We got 10 people that bought the tickets, 20 speakers.
Yeah, dude, it was a good time. We were just sitting around. I remember feeling super inspired. Because, dude, I mean,
Taylor's energy is honestly what made it happen. Like starting out, I was a yes man. I was like, yeah, let's fucking do this. But then Taylor was like, let's fucking do this. And I'm like, all right, like we're actually gonna do this. And then we started doing it. I'm like, I don't know if anyone's gonna show up, dude.
You know what? I've never said this, but dude, up until I met you, I mean, you had gone to had other conferences, events, and stuff. I was like a lone soldier entrepreneur, dude. I really didn't know anybody. I had no entrepreneur friends. It was a lonely road my first year, really, until I met Jameson and you were like the first people that I knew in person that I actually became friends with that like
so funny you met him
had a business, and that drastically changed. Like if you're watching this right now, and I remember when we were in that Airbnb in Overtown, I remember feeling so inspired, like, holy crap. Like I felt like because I had access to your brain and I could ask you these questions and stuff. And it doesn't work just for you and I, but for anyone, when you make friends and you network with people that have an expanded vision or access to other information and ideas that you haven't seen or understood yet, it just blows your mind and you're like,
holy, a whole new realm.
Yeah. And you get excited about learning again. And that's when I was like, dude, we should host an event. Like at the time, I think there were probably other Amazon seller events. I hadn't heard of them. I was like, and then I was running the TikTok up at the time. So I was like, I guarantee you we could get at least 30 people there. And the rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got, the thing I really like about Miami events is like, and it feels like I'm just plugging our event now, but the fact that we get private label guys, we kind of need to, in the future years, I feel like we can kind of beef up the private label people. Maybe as more of our friends or us get into private label, we could do that. But right now we got Trevin Peterson and a few other people that represent the private label guys. We have a big book selling presence because of myself and Caleb and all them. About 25% last year they showed up. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a lot of booksellers, and that was cool. This year is going to be OA heavy. I already feel like, because Miles is coming, Warner. Look at our speaker lineup, dude. It's just like we got a bunch of OA fiends out there. Let's pull this up, and then we got the wholesale people. Obviously, we got Amazon Lit. I've been trying to get Watch Me Amazon, but we got Amazon Lit, and then a few other low-key people in wholesale. Let's pull this up real quick. But I'm excited for Friday night. My favorite part of these events is the after party type stuff. Yeah. So I'm really excited for
I'm going to try not to get as drunk this year, dude. I don't know what happened last year.
No, we're going to do it again this year. I'm not going to get I'm not going to drink a lot until Sunday on the yacht. But I've been doing this thing where I don't drink at all. Like I did drink last week on Books and Bourbon, they made me take a shot. I just like went and found a vodka bottle in this Airbnb. But I've been doing this thing where I don't drink much, and then I just like for
Kid
big events I'll
sloth.
drink a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's healthy or not, but I feel like it's way healthier than having like 3 beers a day.
Well, you know what? I was listening. Andrew Huberman's been super popular and, going around the podcast. And he said that a study came out that if you have more than 7 or more drinks a week, that's the point where it starts to negatively impact your health, and it could put you at more risk of like dementia.
Does it matter if you drink them all once or one a day? Or...
I don't know. I didn't listen to that. I just heard 7 or more a week, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I should. I think I'm right around there. Maybe I should cut back a little bit. But it could put you at risk of like dementia or other stuff, he was saying.
That's interesting.
But you were going to go through the speakers. I'm sorry, Avery.
Yeah, no, you're good.
We got Scott Needham.
Yeah. So can you see my screen good?
Yes.
Okay, we got Scott Needham. He's at one point in time, he was number 6 on Amazon, like number 6 out of all Amazon sellers. So we have him in the room. By the way, we'll probably have Sell Back Your Book as well. Sellbackyourbook.com. We'll probably have a representative from there. And they're like consistently, and they've been like top 5, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but they're at least, they hover between 7 and 14 is what he said. So we got a big book seller in there. Warner Fields of Profit. He's blown up in the last few years. He came to our first event, and it's just been crazy watching him grow. I didn't even really know who he was at the first event, and now he's taught me so much about OA. Like, I love watching his videos. Rake and Profit. This guy's like, he's great at social media. I think that's really like the value he has to provide is he is just really, really good. And he downplays this, but he's really good at making YouTube videos in like a clear and concise way. And he's also just really good at like email marketing and stuff. And obviously he's got his eBay to Amazon business that he just started this year. He's already doing like 10K profit months with it.
Crushing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool to see him like just pull that off out of nowhere. Then we got Trevor Peterson, private label guy. He's sold over probably like 6 million on Amazon by now, 6-7 million. We also got Buy Box Bandits. We got Miles, Danny, and Garrett. I mean, these guys are just consistent with the content they push out. Danny lives in Miami. Miles also has taught me a ton about OA. Garrett, he's a numbers guy. He's all about spin goals. You have to spend 100K if you want to make X amount, whatever your ROI is. Billy Flips. You remember Billy Flips from last year?
Yeah.
Billy Flips was a child. He still is a kid, but he's matured a lot business-wise in the last 8 months. He's done $250,000 this year in sales, and at Miami 2022, he was just starting out.
Buy Billy a few drinks. Ask for his ID first. I'm not sure if he's 21.
Yeah. Yes, I don't even know if he's 21 yet. But yeah, so Billy, get your fake ID from Miami. Get strapped up. John Side Hustle Experiment. He's probably watching this right now. He started as a book seller. He's doing like 50K plus OA. Caleb, David does 3 million out of Denver. Matthew and Caleb are co-founders of Scout IQ. They're the founders of Scout IQ. Books and Bourbon podcast. Caleb taught me like everything I know about selling books. Like I credit me to getting to like 1 million plus in books a lot to him, either copying what he's doing or listening to what he had to tell me. Amazon Lit, not much has to be said about them. They're crushing it with the content. They're legit. They have students that are doing like 100K plus a month, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
Or even more than that. I saw them giving out an award. They might have students doing $1 million.
They charge 40. I'm pretty sure 40 grand to be in their inner circle, and you guys are going to get to have them for the weekend. So.
Yeah. So these guys charge 40 grand to have one-on-one contact with them, and you'll definitely be able to talk with them. And they don't drink either, so they'll be at the after party. Talk to them, and they'll still be.
They'll be totally sober.
I don't know about Taylor, but. Then for sure. We got Michaela. Somebody gave a shit about not having a girl, so we went ahead and decided to get a girl I'm just kidding. It wasn't because of that. Michaela's crushing it. Again, she just started out. She decided not to go to graduate school in 2020, and now she's pumping out 100K months at about 10-15% profit, I think. Fast Track FBA just came on my radar recently. I actually watched a lot of his YouTube videos earlier this year, and we just vibed really well when he came on my podcast, episode number, was it 3 last week, I think. And yeah, he'll be coming through. He does 10 million a year.
Wow.
All the way. He's got like 80 VAs or something crazy like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. So like this guy, I'm looking forward to talking with him more. I could shoot 3 more podcasts with him.
He has 80 VAs.
80 VAs. Yeah.
Oh my God. Let's see what that is per month if he's paying them $2 an hour. Full time?
He pays them like 500 a month. Now he said 80, and I don't know if, because he's also got a VA service where like he hires VAs. So I don't think they're all sourcing for him, but he's got a ton that are sourcing for him. I don't know how many are sourcing for him exactly, but he said 80 at one point. We're working for him. He does a thing that, you did it once. You hired a VA for somebody for like $1,000. You found him a good VA.
Yeah.
He does that for people. He's helped 500 people find VAs. Wow. And he's got a what's it called? A guarantee that if the VA doesn't work out, he helps hire a new one. So
wow.
Vanessa. Actually, I think Vanessa's our only non-white person. Actually, no, Jameson's Jewish, so he counts. Vanessa is she's like the IP alert queen. Big shout out to her for getting Carbon 6 to sponsor the yacht. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool having. She's just so smart when it comes to IP complaints. Like, earlier I said like something about, they can suck my dick IP complaints. Like, she would not tell you that. She would tell you to like address it the right way and do the right things. And she would tell you, to my point, when I said that, what I meant was a lot of these companies don't have the power to kick you off the listing. But Vanessa is going to be able to tell you, oh, this company can do this company can't. So when to respect the IP complaints and what exactly to do. She's just great. Like, hang out, guys. It's going to be a long day, but I don't know when she's speaking. Last year she spoke towards the end. But make sure to definitely pick her brain. She's probably one of the smartest people at this conference. She's definitely the smartest person when it comes to IP alerts.
The insides. Yeah, I feel like us sellers, we're always focusing on the profit, whereas she's like, okay, here's how to not to go out of business when it comes to account health and stuff.
100%. We got Dan 1000 Asins. He's about to
look at those biceps, bro.
I know. He's got the Chad in this picture.
Can you just zoom in on those biceps for a second?
Dude, I think the triceps are popping more. This dude definitely works out. He's my partner. If you guys want to be coached by me and him, go ahead and comment below, slide in the DMs. We put together a coaching program. You have to apply to become part of it. But we'll talk more about that at Miami as well. And his goal is to do 12 million this year, but I think Restock Limits kind of threw a curveball on that, and he'll probably end up at about 11. And he's at like a 10% margin plus. So like this dude's bringing in over $1 million net each year. Better be paying taxes and all that, Dan. And then we got Jameson. Jameson's absolute legend. We're going to give him actually a pretty generous speaking slot because he's got a great story, and we expect him to move the crowd. He did a great job at the Scout IQ Summit, and so I'm super excited to have him at Miami again too. Like his story was really good, dude. I mean, like, a little bit about his story, but like when you start talking in front of people and you just get like more, maybe emotional is not the right word for it, but you just get more excited, like more comes out.
Yeah.
Like you practice the talk and you think you're going to do it one way, but then you start talking in front of people, and if they're receptive and like listening, like I'm talking like a big audience, you just start pouring more and more out. So like I watched him practice 3 or 4 times his talk for Scout IQ Summit. And then he went and gave the talk, and he was saying things that he didn't even tell me in private during the talk. And there was like vulnerable shit, man. Like he was like really going in on like his backstory. And, he used to be like doing drugs, and he was suicidal and like stealing from people. And he was just like, laying it all out. So
he's been through it, man. He's been through it. And I think, dude, it's inspiring to hear one of those talks. I'm sure we'll have people in the audience that are going through, maybe it's not drugs, but maybe it's a financial pain, or maybe it could be anything. And I think it's cool to have people. I think it's really easy to see all these speakers go up there and be like, and to look at yourself like, oh gosh, I'm so far behind. Like, I felt that as the co-host of the first year. I remember I was only doing like, dude, I was only maybe bringing in 20K, maybe even less per month. And I remember I had all these speakers lined up and I'm up here with them. And I'm like, I should be in the audience right now. I felt like a piece of crap. But the cool thing is all these speakers have more to offer than just their numbers and their skills. Like they all have a story where, they were able to get past the series of adversities that life threw at them. So yeah, Jameson's got plenty that he can share with you guys. So we're excited for that for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be good vibes, man. We got to talk more about how we're going to arrange everyone behind the scenes, but it's going to be a great event. We already got 43 people, guys, who have bought tickets. And keep in mind that, this is not a cheap event. Like this is an expensive event because we're getting you so close to all these people. Like Taylor and I are not what makes this event super valuable. What makes this event valuable is the fact that you have access to like 15 other speakers, and some of them are literally like top 10 Amazon sellers. Some of these people in the room. How fucking crazy is that? Like that's where the value comes in.
So yeah, you can pay them $40K to be in their inner circle, or you can pay us $500 and come steal them for the weekend.
This is my friend Avery. This is another Avery becoming the Fords. Yeah, I was trying to figure out who that was. He said non-white person. He's a black Avery. I'm the white Avery.
So, I got
people online don't even know my name's Avery. Sometimes they just think I'm Romer.
Oh yeah, Romer the Romer. That's what they'll do. Fast Track FBA. I'm excited to meet him. I haven't heard of him. I just followed him.
What do you? Yeah, he's a super chill dude. You guys should connect before. What does it say? I'd like to get Greg Murphy. He's a mega book seller on Amazon. Yeah, Greg Murphy's been on and off over the years. But yeah, I respect anybody who has been in business for like an extended period of time. And that's why I love doing these events, because you just see people from like years before. Like we're having a lot of people show up this year from last year, and it's just like a family reunion. And like you just see people, and it's like back to the point about Jameson. It's like you're like, well, maybe everyone can't relate with being a drug addict, but we can all relate with adversity. If you're a fucking entrepreneur and you have not been through adversity, you are a fucking liar.
Yeah,
we've all been through adversity. We all will go through more adversity. That is entrepreneurship, And so just I love like seeing people as years go on and be like, you're still in this bitch, motherfucker. Like, we're still doing it.
Yeah, man.
It's just nice.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, dude, it's crazy to remember like Miles was at a 2022, or was it 2021? He was there.
Yeah.
Like, oh guys, we gotta shoot content. He would.
Yeah.
And who knows how much he was doing at the time? Probably only 20K, and now he's doing more than both of us combined. Same thing with Warner.
Yeah. Yeah, and both of them have crushed it with social media, and so it's inspiring seeing these people. That's probably what gets me going more than anything, is like seeing younger people figure things out and make it work. Seeing anybody figure things out and make it work is really inspiring. But just seeing people progress as years go on, it really makes you realize if you focus on something, you can make it work.
I agree.
What do you think about FBA's VA program? Would you use it? Why or why not? Personally, I would not use it, but that's just me personally. I know how to hire VAs. I know what I want. When I'm looking for a VA, I just talk to him on the phone, but I'm sure it's really valuable. It comes with like a guarantee. And so like, if you're like super sketched about hiring a VA and like you don't have good people skills, like maybe it's worth a shot. Like if you don't know if you've never hired an employee before, 100% it's worth it, because they're going to back you up. And if it's a shitty employee, you can just move on to the next one. You can do that.
Especially if he's going to give you a guarantee,
the guarantee is what makes it valuable. But me personally, like, I feel like I have a decent gut when it comes to hiring people, and I just talk to them on the phone. And I've been wrong a lot. I've been wrong about people. Like this year, 2022, I had to check what fucking year it was. This year has been the year where I've been proven wrong. Greg Murphy actually told me. Greg Murphy told me this a few years ago. I talked to Greg on the phone. This is me when I was like a young kid. It's crazy going back watching my videos back then, like just how naive I was. I was talking to Greg on the phone. Greg's a big book seller, Taylor. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, nobody has ever stolen from me. And he's like, they will. That's what he told me. Cause he was like worried about stuff. We were like talking about stuff and he's like, yeah, they might steal it. And I was like, what are you talking about? Steal it? Like people don't, what do you mean? And he's like, people will steal from you in business. And this year alone, I've had like several scenarios where people have either stolen from me directly, but more indirectly, they've stolen from me. I actually had my identity stolen or some shit. It wasn't that big of a deal,
Really?
but like, yeah, like a bunch of my Amexes were like being charged at like websites like Kohl's and stuff, like websites I shop at. And so it was kind of hard to catch.
Damn,
But
dude.
yeah, somehow my credit cards got linked out there. Probably one of my YouTube viewers.
Dude, yeah, there's something. I agree, man. Like my WhatsApp got hacked, and dude, that was freaking me out. They had all of my contacts. They were messaging everyone in my phone. People were calling me, "Yo, why are you asking me for Bitcoin?" And yeah, I feel like until you've, and you know what, actually, what I was similarly, dude. I was like, you know, believer in Eastern philosophy. I was like, well, if I don't steal, thou shalt not steal from me. And people will steal from you. I lost trust in prep centers, bro. After that went down with that place in Montana, bro, I was scarred. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was like, I
wish I could make that my green screen right now. the little crack house that they had.
Bro, I lost $3,000, you know, and obviously it's like, you know, it's not that much maybe, but like it really bothered me at the time. And yeah, I think you shouldn't be naive. You should be able to have a set of, you know, now we go, you know, we're going to follow a much stricter protocol when choosing a prep center, you know?
Yeah.
So you live and you learn, man.
So he's got another question about FT. Same question about FBA program, Taylor.
Would
you use it?
Oh, would I use it?
Yeah. Taylor's actually given that service before.
Yeah, I've trained a few other
Hit Taylor up if you want that service.
Yeah, I got you. You know what? I've trained a few VAs. I think here's what I say. I think having a VA, especially your first VA, is a complete game changer. So Ben, if you don't have a VA right now and you're thinking about doing it, do it. Because like I was never going to get a VA. And then Avery set me up with an interview with one. He's like, you have 3, you know, he messaged Ern, his assistant. He's like, set her up with 3 interviews next week. What?
You owe me $1,000 for that.
Yeah, exactly. But I probably never would have gotten a VA if he didn't just set me up with an interview. So if it's your first ever VA, just pay the money, because you know what? That VA is going to make you 10, 20 grand over the next.
Yeah, it's not even just that VA. It's the skill of having somebody else do things for you. But yeah, I think with VAs, I think it's almost more valuable to hire a VA just to do the things you don't want to do and close loops for you. My VA Ern saves me so much time every day just with the 10 voice messages that I send them a day. Just closing loops, you know. Taylor will message me like, hey, can you get so-and-so an affiliate link for Miami or something? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then I message Ern and it's done, you know. And it's like, that's honestly I would actually be careful hiring a VA for OA, because if you only have, let's say you only have, I'm going to say only $10,000 to spend on product. The product you purchase is very, like, you can purchase so much different product out there. You can purchase $10,000 worth of product that sells within a month. You can purchase $10,000 worth of product that sells in 3 months. You can purchase $10,000 worth of product that comes back as 50% ROI, 15% ROI, 5% ROI. And so make sure you have a good pulse on like what type of product you're actually purchasing. And if your VA is going to bring down that return on investment, or if your VA is going to extend the time that it takes to sell the inventory because they're getting worse leads, then your VA is actually like a roadblock. It's not gonna help you. And so understand sourcing yourself. And you know, there's people that crush it with VAs, Fast Track FBA. I actually let go of actually all my VAs for sourcing, and I do sourcing myself now because I do a lot of replans. I get a lot from the community, and I found it more valuable to actually just get it myself. And I found it was actually like me going through, and I know you dealt with this too, where I had like 10 different ASINs I had to go through that the VAs would give me. And it took me like 30 minutes. And sometimes I would buy none of them. Sometimes I would buy one of them. But I'm like, out of this 30-minute block, I purchased one thing that I found, and it's not even the best thing it could be. What if I just took that 30 minutes and focused myself, and being somebody who educates the community, it was actually, I'm killing two birds with one stone because I'm getting better at sourcing myself. And so if I can get better at sourcing myself, then it's better than just being the checker of sourcing, of checking like 10 ASINs that my VA found. You know what I mean?
Dude, I went through the same thing, man. I had 3 VAs finding me leads, and I would sit down for 3 hours and go through all of their leads. And then, some days I wouldn't buy anything. And then I was like, this is absurd. So now I just have one VA, but she does all of my personal travel stuff. She updates all my spreadsheets and my tasks and everything. And I would say don't look for someone that necessarily has extensive training in OA. Find someone that's smart. Get on a Zoom with them and just talk with them. You can tell them how smart they are, and pretty intuitively, and then just train them.
Yeah.
So,
Fast Track FBA had a good point when it came to training his VAs. He had an interesting perspective. He said that he would only just give them incentives. And I was like, what do you do to train them? Like, do you guys do reverse sourcing, manual sourcing, and what? And he was like, I just tell them I want profitable leads and they can do whatever they want. Like, of course, he gives them like resources to learn, but he gives them so much freedom that it's like 100% incentive based.
Oh, he doesn't give them an hourly wage.
Well, he does give them an hourly wage, but they get like, it's highly incentive based on,
Oh, wow.
He actually incentivizes them based on net profit.
You know what? That's why he's killing it then, because I felt when I was doing it with 3 VAs, I didn't have any incentives. And I felt that these fuckers, they are literally just sending me this shit to get their job done and get paid. Like, I'm telling them the same mistakes over and over again. So I would say that, incentive-based structures, I guarantee that would make it.
The purest form is net profit, because if you incentivize spend, he had a really good point. He was like, the VA could make you spend $10,000 on one product. My incentivization structure was every 10 grand I spent, I paid my VA $50. And he was like, that's not the best, because they can spend you can spend 10 grand. Like, I got my $50 bonus. I'm going to go share these 4 leads in another leads group. But if it's net profit based, they're going to be like, I don't want to share this with anybody because I want it to sell faster, and I want it to sell for as much profit as possible.
Oh, so he calculates their incentives based on his profit of his business.
Yeah, it's all connected to the SKU. So they purchase the item, the SKU gets assigned to a VA who sourced it, and it all goes back to the VA. So the VA can look at how much net profit they've made the business, and
wow,
that's
literally genius.
And it incentivizes long term too, because how long does it take to make net profit? It takes several weeks.
That's what I was terrified of. Like, my VAs sharing leads with other groups. Like, what's stopping a VA from sourcing for 2 people, getting 2 jobs, and giving them the same leads?
Yeah, exactly. One of my VAs
that would solve that problem, and it would solve the problem of them providing poor quality.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why, like you said, just hire somebody you think smart, hire a VA you think smart. I think I do the same thing, because I would rather just train somebody that has no experience at all, so they don't even have like the mind to try and go find other leads list or someone else to work for. But if you hire somebody who used to work for somebody else, and maybe they can go back to that job at any point in time, maybe it's a completely commission-based job. Maybe it's not even per hour. Maybe it's on how many leads do you find. Well, they can find leads for you and then somebody else. Like, that's worst case scenario.
I think I'm going to set that up. I'm going to do a profit-based thing. That's
talk to Fast Track FBA. We can wrap things up. Jeffrey says he had 10,000 in charges from Bogota, Colombia. Yeah, these credit card companies, they'll give you your money back if you call them and tell them. That's why you should use a credit card for everything.
Dude,
luckily they didn't get the debit cards.
Yeah, dude, let me ask you this, Avery. What I placed an order on Kohl's last night, and I shipped it to my PO box in Miami by accident.
Oh, did you?
I'm like, and by accident though, and I'm like, what should I do? I'm like, I wonder if I can charge that back. I don't know how I'm gonna get it like until February.
Dude, I got a Luxor notification the other day for
really?
a package delivery.
Oh yeah, Obi texted me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would someone ship you something?
I don't think, no, not me. Unless it was like, I don't know.
It's weird.
I don't know what it was.
Taylor,
Last question for both, since Taylor had a bad experience with a fulfillment center. What would you done differently when choosing a fulfillment center? Or what would you do to look for one now? It's a good question.
Yeah. I would do this. I would proceed with caution and find someone that is a medium scale operation, because if they're too big, they're not going to prioritize you. If they're too small, they're not going to have experience. They could make more mistakes. Find a medium scale operation. Maybe they only have 20, 15 clients, and I think that's the sweet spot in my opinion. You want them to prioritize you. And speed is everything. If they're taking, 3 to 4 days, hopefully less, they're getting stuff out. And don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So if you're buying 10,000 a month, don't sign up for a prep service and send them 10K. Work up that level and have a plan B so that you can
wise words from a wiser and wiser man as years go on. What are you excited for, Taylor, for Miami? What's your
dude? I'm definitely excited to just kick it and catch up with everyone. I'm excited to get everyone together in the same room. Magical stuff, magical conversations always happen. I'm excited to stay extremely sober, the whole weekend. And
that is not true. Taylor was passed out. Shout out Dave Can Read, David Chung. He had some great advice. He was like, after a stream, he should have just said this on the live, and I completely concur with him. Shout out OA Troll as well. Like every feedback we get, negative or positive, is good, especially the negative. OA Troll called out the lunch last year, which I don't think the lunch was terrible, but people paid $40 for it, and we had pizza, but it wasn't like Domino's pizza. Like it was nicer pizza. Anyway, taking that positive consideration, now lunch is 100% on Taylor. Taylor did a great job. Taylor catered. You guys see this behind me? This beautiful Costa Rican looking, whatever you call this, balcony.
Bamboo Lodge.
Yeah, it literally looks like that place we did yoga. Where one night we went to Costa Rica. Not one night. We went for a week, and Taylor had dinner catered, and it was an amazing experience. So Taylor's good at that shit. I fucked it up.
We're gonna be going from 2 stars to 4.7 stars this year.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
Also, we're gonna be doing a round 2 in August, right? For the Costa Rica.
Yeah. We're gonna be doing round 2 for a travel event. So we're gonna have Miami at the beginning of the year, and then we're gonna be doing like a Costa Rica type event. So literally went to a place that looked like this. We did yoga. It was just a good ass weekend. Like
rented motorcycles.
We got motorcycles. We had beers every night. It was just a bunch of Amazon sellers doing hundreds of thousands in sales. And so it was just nice networking. Like it's always such a good vibe. But what I was about to say is David said last year he thought the after party was kind of flat almost. Not that it was like we had the bartender, we had music, but I think the day was just so good and like so much energy. And then we went back to the same venue, and then the venue was like, it wasn't smaller, but it felt smaller because like not as many people were there. The DJ was only there during the day and not night, which you would expect the reverse to happen. And I think and we were in Miami, and so we should have been like downtown Miami.
100% on the river with the yachts.
Yeah, and so that's what we're gonna be doing.
And the filet mignon and
We're gonna have a good app. Like this year, we're not gonna be on a yacht for the after party, but on Sunday we'll be on the yacht. So Saturday night's you're gonna smell like this fucking salty breeze of Miami near the river. There's gonna be hookah, maybe if you smoke. There's gonna be drinks, and it's cool. Like if you don't smoke, if you don't drink, it's fine. I don't even know if I'll be drinking then, but I'll definitely be drinking Sunday for sure. And I'll probably be drinking Saturday too.
Just not during the event. Well,
all right, brother. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Where can they follow you?
Guys, at Taylor Jones _official, Instagram and TikTok. Also, don't forget to check out MiamiSellersConference.com. Till next time.
Yeah. All right, brother. Thanks for coming on. And for everyone that's in the comment section, see you in Miami if you're coming to Miami. If not, I'll see you on the next YouTube video. Peace out, fam.